Hey.
Welcome.
Hey, buddy. How are you? How's it going?
I'm good. How are you, Sam? How's your week been, mate?
It's good, man. How about
We've
you?
got very good. Well, look, it could have been better on the weekend with the Blues, but we'll dissect that. We've got a big episode today, Sam, really big. And I'm so keen to get your take on this because I know you've been itching and you know about the scores, and I've filled you in about the 0-60 thing and all that sort of stuff. But before we do that, let's go through the formalities. This is the change room. Mindful chats for the game of life. We are up to episode 27.
That's crazy.
It's very good.
It's in there.
27. Okay. And the question is whether or not we'll get it from the chat. Do they want us to keep on going postseason? I think we should. And when do we stop? Do we go over Christmas and stuff? And then, today we're going to give you a bit more of a, let's call it a carton show, because we do tend to say that we're not a carton show. We're carton flavored. So we might talk about a topic, and this is what this podcast is about. It's about something that you be a theme. Okay. And today's theme is what's the story? All right. And what's the story meaning, like, what story are they feeding us? This is the club. What story we understanding as a narrative? Okay. Because we might be all completely wrong. And this is why I want to get your expert view on what's happening, right? So so that's what I want to do. I want to go through the sponsor. We're gonna get Rocco on today on the show. I'm pretty excited. It's gonna be like his debut on the change room, right? So he's gonna come up soon. But let's go through some of the branding sort of stuff. So first things first, we are brought to you by the Jumper Punch channel. Rocco, Paulo, and Mars. We're on every Thursdays. I want to put a big shout out to a good friend of ours, Urg. I'm going to put it up here, Blues Crypto. All right, download the Phantom Wallet here from the App Store. Join the Blues Crypto Telegram. Mention the Jumper Punch, and you will receive 10,000 tokens. So,
dude, you know what? I just want to say,
and both of us have got our 10,000. And you know what? Guess what? It's just going up. It's going up. So thanks, Erg. I'm going to catch up with Erg soon. Also, he's a brother. So really good. What else is there, mate? By the way, this week I caught up with Ken Hunter again. Yeah. He's saying to me, he goes, "We've got to get Sam down. I reckon we need to get you down to the Blues, right? Seriously. I mean that. Like, if there's any time that experts are needed, it's right now in the story we're telling. So, when do you want to get Rocco
on? Well, whenever, really. I mean, we want to get into the show. The whole idea is really we're doing this off the back of a huge loss, and end of a season, right? So
it's done.
Yeah, so we want to spend a little bit of time there, grieving. I'm sure people are going through.
Our friend Enzo Valentino says we have a lot of healing to do.
Yeah.
So, and you know all about healing, Sam. I'm so interested to get your take on this. I've been bursting to because sport is like, it's like business, it's like life, right? There's a story, there's a narrative. And this is where I think it's really important. We keep on saying mindset. It's not only about the mindset. It's like we might actually be delusional. Maybe the team is not that good, right? There's things to really dissect here. And I'm interested to see what also the audience puts into the comments and stuff. But today, I think, getting the Rocco, and I don't know if you watched the Jumper Punch on Tuesday night, but I reckon he went for a 2-hour rant. He just went nuts. It's like he's been so, what's the word? The whole year. Yeah, he's been so cool and relaxed, and he's actually, some of the boys make a bit of a joke around by saying, "Rocco, you've changed. You've become so chilled." And then he let loose. And I think this is the point that I wanted to talk about is I think fans, and absolutely they're fed up. They're fed up, right? It's not about you should be last year you made it one game less than the actual cup, right? So you went all the way, almost all the way. It's not about that. It's the delivery and how when you got there in the last 2 months, that you've only won 3 games to the bottom 3 teams, and you've been nowhere. Why has that change just happened? So I also want to say that we're on Spotify. So it'll be delayed, but you'll listen to us on Spotify, which is really good. So go ahead, Sam. You're going to say something. Sorry,
yeah, you're just running on. I think first of all, your interview skills, bro. I mean, I love the way you start the show every week and stuff like that. Complete natural, man. I know I keep telling you this off the air, but I love the way you do that. And it's a I don't want to sound too empathetic. I want to sound a little bit more objective.
This is the reason I want you here. Yeah, that's the whole point.
By saying that, I think I just want to kick off with something. I think I'm gonna quickly gain some haters, probably so fast, but I think the loss was needed. Okay, and when I say it's needed, it's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call, and I say this empathetically because I side with the fans. And when I say the fans, the super fans, the people that pay hard-earned money to go out, to stop what they're doing, their jobs, their daily lives, their kids, their families, their livelihood, to go root for a team, a cause, a mission, a movement. And that's what hurts me the most. So I don't want like fans to come jumping at me that way. I feel so much for them that I say it out of love, but I think what was needed was a loss, an absolute loss. And I say that respectfully, but I also say that objectively as well, because only through losing like really hard, it hits very deep. And that's what makes great teams, great players. And if they take the learnings out of this, and we'll discuss a few of them during this episode, but if they really take it, they could come back as an absolute beast, okay, in the next season. And
I think there's got to be more changes to be done, Sam. But I get it. Listen, there's a couple of comments here. We got a donation also, but I just want to paint the picture for you. I know how you know that the fans, but here's one from Enzo that you should read. Right, I'm 50, and that was the most embarrassing first half of football I've ever seen by Carlton. That's a 50-year-old guy that's saying that. It was absolutely embarrassing. It's a cut through. Here's one from Lana, right? Enzo 56, the same. Disgraceful effort, embarrassing. Everyone's pissed off. And then I just got to put some good news. We've got our first donation for $14.99. Coffee's on me, D-Rash, from Blues Crypto. Thank you so much for the $15. Really, really appreciate that. If you want to do a donation, please go ahead. And we're happy to take tokens.
Listen, I think you touched on something, Rash, where maybe we're delusional, okay, by believing all the hype, the media, the marketing behind this, possibly, and probably most likely. But let's just remember something. Let's remember something, because I come from 18 years of advertising background. Yeah, they're doing their job. Of course, they're going to bring their spirits up. Of course, they're going to talk positive. Of course, they're going to, talk in a way that they're the best team ever. Of course, they're going to make things sound rosy and like there's no fucking problem. We have to be objective here, right? All right. So listen, I'm just hearing and bouncing off what I hear.
I'm asking for your feedback. So let's get Rocco in. Let's get him in, and let's get this episode up and away. Oh, look at him. He's just reading the book.
Oh, sorry, man. I've been just reading for the record and off the record. Everyone should just get on there. What a great read so far, And
thank you so much.
And we showed this book. I actually stole the Carlton game plan book for the day. And if everyone can read that, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That was the game plan for the day. That's what happened.
No, but I have to one sec. I have to make a comment, Rocco. That book, apart from Rich's amazing book, Mark Manson wrote a fucking masterpiece. And if you read that, if you actually read it completely from cover to cover, he deals with shit objectively. It doesn't mean not giving a fuck, being careless. It's being, how do I make something good again? What do I need to do? Yeah,
it's a fantastic book. You know what the first chapter's called? Do you remember, Sam?
No.
Don't try. And that's exactly what we did on Saturday night on the first half. We didn't try at all.
Oh, God.
Everyone like the big A. I'm so big.
But I got to say something, Rocco. Sorry, mate. But the word try in neuro-linguistic programming means attempting to fail. Whenever you say, I will try to do something, you very likely don't end up doing it. So now that you mentioned that word.
So what would you say?
I will do it. Do it.
That's right.
I will try. I will do it. All right.
When we say to each other, as mates and say, I'll try to pass by, or I'll try to see you then, or most oftentimes we don't actually follow through. So I'm happy that you brought that up, because the word try, my friend, means they're not going to do it. So I want to do it. I demand to do it. It's mine. It's a totally different narrative.
Boys, let's get off the neuro-linguistics. Let's talk about the game, and let's talk about things we're going to dissect. So, Rocco, do you want to just paint the picture quickly? I mean, he's heard it. Just let's talk about a couple of things where we can get some expert advice from Sam. Obviously, Sam's going to bring it all together, which is really good because he's got a neutral point of view. I mean, he's a Carlton supporter, but he's in the sandpit. He's in the in Dubai.
You know why I'm a Carlton supporter, Rash? Because of the fans. Because of the fans, first and foremost. I have to be honest. The fans, the love, the support, the affection, the camaraderie of the fans. I haven't seen a fan club like this in a very long time, to be honest.
Okay,
it's a great community, the Carlton. We are a great community, and what we've built off the field, with social media and that, we're just fantastic. We show up every week, and we love our club, and that's why we're so disappointed, Sam, with this week. You get in there and then you put in such a poor effort. I mean, one of the worst efforts I've ever seen from a club, from any club, to come in and be so. And the questions, I suppose, for me is, and everyone's watched the shows during the week, so that they've seen what my rants are about. And we can complain about players, and we can complain about this, and we can complain. But when you look at the roots, we've got to look at, like, there's no use making all these, we're complaining about everything. We've got to find solutions somehow, So if you're not part of the, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem, and that's how I feel sometimes. And the way I look at it is, it has to all start from the top, Sam. You know what I mean? And we've seen cracks for the last couple of years. Yeah, we've had good patches. But when the pressure is really there, cracks appear, and that's what happens. You know what I mean? When there's real pressure, and
still there's no excuse. There's no excuse for zero.
I saw excuses. There is no excuse, and I saw cracks in the leadership of this club on the last day on Saturday night. I saw cracks in the coach. I saw cracks on the leaders. I saw cracks in the way they selected the team. Did they do it for the right reasons? You know what I mean? So this is my issue, is about the leadership of this team. You know what I mean? Have we got the right leaders? What I see of them, are they showing that they are the right people to bring this team to the next level? Because I can bring the team. I'll tell you right now, I can bring this team from 15th, 16th on the ladder to 8th. We could all do it. It's not hard. You get yourself some good players, half a game plan, and you get there. But when you bring it to 8th to 4th, and then 4th to 1st, that's the real challenge. And that's when you need those big leaders. And I see cracks in our leadership, and especially from our coach over the weekend.
Right. There's a really nice comment here from Chris Mast. I just want, how do we get back to greatness like the Hawks in Geelong? I think that's where we were.
Can I just say one more thing, and then I'll let you talk, Sam, right? I'll tell you one more thing. To me, I've said this before, and I'll say it a million times. I don't care. You got Collingwood supporters. You can get whatever team you want in Australia. We are the biggest club in the country. We are so big that we need a special person to run this club. Not any, because the club will eat you up. It will eat you up. It's like an organism. It will eat you up. And if you aren't strong, it will eat you up. And I fear that the people that are leading this aren't strong enough to take control. And years ago, we used to have a president called John Elliott, and he was a strong personality. And he ran this club with an iron fist, you know. And some people say, oh, you know, he was too hard and that. You know what? But he accepted nothing but nothing but first. Nothing but first. If we'd lose a grand final, he'd go into the change room and he'd berate that team and say, that's not good enough for coming second. I don't want to hear it. I suspect that.
Rocco, what year was this?
So that was in the 80s, 90s, and coming into like early, you know, late 90s, maybe, you know, up to 2000, let's say.
Right. Yeah. The reason I'm asking you that question is because obviously, as you know, times have seriously changed. And now everyone knows the club, like any club really in sports, it's also a business, right? So running a business, the big question is, you know, who's the most invested and are they getting returns? And so when I coach businesses, ultimately you follow the money trail, like who's making the biggest donation or who's got the biggest investment, to find out really what their agenda is. And like any business, you know, they want bottom lines, and they'll make decisions, even it looks to me, even if it doesn't make sense professionally or aesthetically in the game, because it garners more sales in some cases or certain strategies that they have. But I'm just going back to the comment that you said that it starts with leadership. Well, it certainly does, but it's just when a loss is a loss, you just got to take it. Okay, when I say take it, I mean you don't take it lying down. You take it and say, hold on. Something was off, and I got to change something. There's something in this that's not working out. It's either miscommunication, lack of motivation. Where's the incentive, right? Like what's going to push them forward? Yeah, and why do we have to wait to the last moment to pick up our game? Why wasn't there a strategy looking at these patterns? Because the first half they didn't score, so that's a clear, you know, sign to say, hold on. Yeah, it's a feedback loop where you could look back and say, hold on, something similar to this happened in that game, and then in that game, and in that game. Well, there's clearly a pattern there. So how come that wasn't taken more seriously? So these are all learnings. Now, when you say that it starts at the top, it does, but at the top, they need reason to believe. Like maybe they're not getting all that information. Like there's a saying we say in coaching is you don't know what you don't know. We don't know what that coach did while he was sitting tucked away in some corner. We don't know what he was going through. Perhaps he actually had the winning strategy, but someone on top, perhaps, I'm just saying, said, no, we don't buy it. You know, it doesn't make any sense to us, for example. All I'm saying is give us a reason to believe, to take the action. Just like any investor or angel investor or venture capitalist, give me a fucking reason to make that move for you or to give you that decision. So I don't completely buy blaming the top, because this is also a business, and you just finished saying it's a big, massive club, probably the biggest. So it just sets up all these questions that needs answering. And I think to be objective, you know, you need to go back to the fucking change room and just sort this out and find out, get the communication going, find out what's it going to take to get us across that line. So I don't need to sound too kind of like, you know, pushy about that, but I just don't buy the blame game. And I understand where it's coming from. I'm empathetic to that. I just don't buy the blame game. There is something there we don't know. But I do know one thing. There are patterns, and there's clearly a lack of communication. Because if that was
leadership, it has to be leadership leadership's got to be there. Good leaders don't allow that to happen 0 to 60. And the other thing is, why is it like the pattern? And we discussed this, Sam, is that the last 2 months, the pattern is we've been playing shit. All of a sudden, it's just gone that way, right? So what's happened? Like, and I was talking to Rocco about this yesterday. I think we were just talking about from the top. I'm not sure, I could be wrong, but I'm not sure that winning the cup is the ultimate first priority. I reckon they're more of a PR machine. It's about a club that wants to look good, sound good, keep the investors happy, and then the flag will be, yeah, we get it. You know what I mean? It's not like it doesn't seem to me there's a desire for that, because there'd be a lot more cutthroat. I don't know, but you know, I think to myself, even the captain, Patrick Cripps, is it like, seriously, what a beast of a player. Is he wasting his time at the Blues? What a sad way. Never played in the grand final. You know, won't win a flag. At least Bontempelli has, you know? These are the sort of things. So go ahead, Rock. Ask the question you want. And
well, I kind of agree and disagree with you in some sense there, Sam. Like, one thing that I know you say it's a business now, but football is, I know it's a business, but let's be serious. It's not. It is, but it's not. It's different. There is a prize at the end. You know what I mean? It is a football club that wins cups. Like any other business, yes, we need to make money. We need to hit those targets and that. If their priority is everything but the cup, then it's all wrong. I don't care what you say. Don't care about the money. Yeah, that's going to happen because their media and their marketing is number one. They've got that part right, but it's like they've forgotten about the most important thing, which is cups and fans, right? Because unlike any other business, this business has fans who are invested into the club. It's a different sort of business. The other thing you say about leadership, I kind of agree, but when you come into a game and play that bad, I question, why did they come in the biggest game of the year not ready? Why aren't you ready? Like, and then if they're not ready, it's the coach's fault. I don't care. If you're not ready, it's the coach's fault. Why haven't you got these players ready? If he tried to get them ready and they weren't good enough, it's the coach's fault again. Because why have you got players there that aren't good enough? This is your responsibility. Then we go up to the next level, president, CEO. You're telling there was patterns in that? Wait a sec. I've employed you, right? Big money. I don't know if the president gets paid, but whatever. You're on big money. You have a big status. Why haven't you seen these patterns? Why haven't you seen these patterns? Oh, he couldn't see them because he was too busy doing something. Well, you know what? Then you're not right for the position. Sorry, next person. We need to, to me, it's just excuses, Sam. It's leadership. I don't care which leader it is, right? We need to take control of this club somehow, because these patterns haven't just happened this year, haven't just happened for the last 2 years. They've happened for the last 20 or 30 years. So how can you let it go this long? How can you let it go this long? Have I ranted enough? Sorry.
And I think just the final point on that is that, Sam, which we want to get your expert point of view, is that I think the fans are absolutely, we got to a point where we're fed up, because it's not about, look, you could try, if they try and they lose, and we see it as fans, we go, you know what, they gave it the best shot, but that was just a better team. We're all good with that. I'm sure chats, please agree with me or not. We're all good with that. You've absolutely given it, but no, you didn't give a hoot. And the coach looked like he was on the boundary. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. It looked like that, but maybe his body language to me, and I understand body language, it was just like he's confused. And then he went up to the top. He's on the boundary the whole year, and he goes up to the top and he's hiding. Like, what the hell? Like, what example are you setting? So what I'm interested from you, Sam, is now that you've got all this information, I know that you've looked at it and said patterns, right? So one pattern is for sure. I just want to get this out and then take the floor. Those in the chat will know what I'm talking about. Last year, when they lost against Essendon, it seems like this club's pattern, from my perspective, is that when they lost to Essendon, where it went really bad and the fans went against them and said, "You're shit," they started burning their memberships and going, "They're crap," and they really went crazy on them. The team turned around, right? And then they went on this 9 winning, and they almost went all the way. So every time these guys are, that it almost feels like, like a father that needs to be aggressive with the kid to get the person to move. It feels like they only move when it's dire straits. Okay. And what I'm saying to you here, from my perspective, what I say is from neuro-linguistic and coaching, we both know that that's not the right place to go for you. You should be going from a place that you're resourceful. So when we're working with organizations or elite sports people, they need to be mentally trained and not to wait until the last 11th hour and they go, okay, now we need to get into gear. No, if you're mentally fit, you get into gear all the time. It's auto response. It's a habit. It's unconscious. These are the things this is why you need to come to the club and we need to do a program for them. But anyway, floor is yours. And there's so many comments, guys. Just let Sam do his thing. And then if you've got any questions to ask Sam, go ahead. But I'll be putting some comments in the meantime.
Before you go, Sam, just quickly, there's 40 odd people in the chat tonight. Great audience. We'd like to thank everyone that comes on and comment, man. Like you're fantastic tonight. Unbelievable.
No, it's great. It's great. And I think that's obviously attributed to you being with us here today, Rob. Oh, come on. Yeah. No, I think it's, listen, I think it's good. I mean, I'm only commenting really on structure of management and leadership. And the comments, for the most part, that I'm hearing is, it's sounding like it's kind of taken in a context it's in isolation. And what I mean by that is, yes, it's frustrating, super frustrating that they've lost the way they did in the very last game. So I can get that. But all I'm inviting you to consider is to kind of take a macro, shot, looking from above and saying, okay, interesting. The last 10, 15, 20 games, what's been going on there? That's what I'm mostly interested in, because only then can you see patterns emerging. Only then can you see the complacency. Only then can you see some of the fear, okay? And that would be a proper diagnosis, if you will, by looking at that situation from that perspective. So while I'm mindful about the frustration about it, especially coming from a super fan club here, I do have to bring things back to a macro and say, hold on, things can change, but they will only change after you learn some of the key concepts of what it takes. What's that vision look like? Does the team have a vision of what it means to win this, the final cup? Or what does it look like? What does success look like to them? Does the coach have that?
Yeah, the coach does. He comes from a background of that. That's why we're all shocked. The coach is won 3 flags. He's one of the toughest players, was one of the best leaders. He was an unbelievable player. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rocco, he's probably one of the top 5 all-time players.
I rate him top 3 captains, and he used to play for Brisbane, in all time. That's how much I rate this man. He was tough, But you're probably right, Sam. And we don't know what their vision is. We're not on the inside, so we don't know what's going on. I think we all realize that we don't know, and there are some things that we shouldn't know. It's within the club, and they should know. My question is, you know what I mean? I don't know what my question is. Have we got the right people there? It frustrates me because we can only judge of what we see, and what I've seen, right? I don't know what's happening on the inside, but what I've seen, it's not strong leadership. Even just the selections they do at times. You know what I mean? Players I don't know how much you understand about the game, but I'm sure I think you follow ice hockey.
Yeah.
It's the same. There's a team. You got people on the outside playing in the reserves. You know, like there are times that we look at players and you go, you deserve to get a game, and they don't. And then there's players within the team that aren't playing well, you know, but they keep getting a game, you know. And then I start thinking, what kind of leadership is that? What does that show to the rest of the team? You know what I mean? If you're not getting a game and you're playing well, does that make the rest of them be dejected? You know what I mean? You know, like that's what I see. I see out on the ground, I don't like the leadership skills. You know what I mean? That's
Sam. No, I totally agree. Sam, maybe give us an example like similar to, it doesn't have to be a football club or ice hockey or whatever, but in your world where you're dealing with, you go into corporations, right? And it's the same sort of thing. Your results, you were great at the start of the year, now you're declining. And then I guess you go in, you audit. I mean, we both do that. And then you work out where the patterns are, and then you come up with solutions. Is that correct? Is that the best way to sort of like explain it? So with all information that you know, and there's a lot of other information you don't know, if you were to depict something, what would you say is the key things here that they can do for the, you know, for the future? Or are we going to be stuck like this? Or are we delusional as a fan base that maybe we're overrating the team?
Well, listen, I would never blame the audience. It's never their problem. I never blame the fans. It's never their problem. They're there to support. It's very clear, and they're spending money, and they're talking always great things about their team because they're passionate, emotional, they're attached. So their investment is very, very clear. Same thing with the customers in the marketplace. You'll never, ever blame the market. It's never their problem. It's your product. You got to change the product, make it more convenient. You've got to see and do some R&Ds on your products. Same thing with the players. So when we audit, I'll also audit the employees. So in this case, I'll also audit the players. I'll sit with each and every one of them to understand what their view is, what their position is, what motivates them, where are their weaknesses. Perhaps they're not vocal enough in the club or in the change room to tell their coach because they don't want to be on the bench, and they always put up their good side. Maybe, you know, so there's a whole bunch of reasons. And audit this, it's not just for leadership or the management. It's also for each individual in a high stakes or decision-making position. And in the case of
saying, we need a review. That's what he's saying. We need a review, like a proper another review.
But an individual one as well, not just a senior.
Shouldn't an organization always be reviewing this review? You know, when people say, "Oh, we need a review this year," it's an excuse to me. It's an excuse, right? It's a way. It's a get out to me. All right, we'll review everything now. Shouldn't there be a bloody weekly, monthly, 6 months, year review every year? Like, and if they're saying that, oh, now we're going to do a review, to me, that's an excuse. You should be reviewing always.
So good organization. Sorry, I'll answer that for you, Sam. Good organizations, the companies that we've worked with, Sam and I, when we're doing audits in there, they usually have KPIs and they have like quarterly reviews. So within the year, regardless, you got your target at the end of the year. That quarterly review is to make sure that you're in line, right? Yeah. So what happens is what happened to the Blues like 2 months ago, like more. It's like 2.5 months ago. The last 10 games, wherever it is, that would be part of the review before the finals. It's like, hey, we need to sort this out. And obviously they weren't able to sort it out. And to me, that shows that I don't know where the problem is. That's that. Am I correct by saying that, Sam? What do you think?
Yeah. Especially
this guy Sam is Inspector Gadget. He'll go in, he'll know what the problem is.
I would actually say with such a strong fan base and a passionate fan base, I would go so far as making some of that audit public, because you owe the fans. You owe them something, especially when you have a loss like that in that fashion. You owe them something. Like it better be a heart-to-heart chat or get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't want to hear it. So I side with the fans tremendously. They're the ones that are basically following, nurturing, talking about, motivating. And it just like you said, Rocco, I think it's part of the culture to make a healthy ecosystem where it's because we're here. We're paying essentially your salary. So you owe us that, to some degree.
And well done, Rash, because I was actually going to put up this comment. No, not this one here. I was going to put up. Can I put up a different comment for a sec?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it. We're going to go through the comments. Because I haven't been able to go through. There's so many comments.
It wasn't that one. Where was it? There was another one here. Oh, it was here. Here, this one here, right? It feels like when expectations rose to 11.4, that it created a fear. Complacency, leadership weren't able to manage it, and the injuries, and that gave us an excuse, right? It feels like that sometimes when our backs are against the wall, we seem to rise.
I was saying that before.
When the expectations are on us, we seem to falter. Now, to me, again, it all comes back to the same thing here, leaderships, right? If that's happening, why is that happening? Why haven't we taken control of that? Why haven't we got the right people there to maybe some learnings, you know what I mean? Maybe we haven't got the right players. Like, these are all questions that need to be answered in the next 6 months and year, right? But it seems that it seems to be that when the expectations are on us, we seem to falter a little bit. Yeah.
I want to get your point of view on that because I think because we do elite mental fitness, they won't have inconsistencies like that.
Well, listen, I've got a question mark on, and obviously Rocco, Rash, you know the coach's history much better than I do, but you did mention earlier that he's a highly respectable coach, and he was a great player as well.
Well, he's more highly respected as a captain,
right,
and player. He won 3 premierships as a captain. As a coach, it's still
as a captain, but as a captain, you still have some leadership qualities, right?
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, the guy was leader of men. Great.
So I'm thinking that my first guess would be, why would he let that happen? And the only conclusion I can quickly come up with was, I think his hands were tied. I think his hands were tied and he was put in a corner. Now hold on. So if that's Rocco's going to jump. Rocco's going to come through the screen. I feel any second.
The comments. I can't even put them in.
Because I tell everyone, I didn't say that to you. I've never said anything like that to you, right? And now you've just blown my mind because it's exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Right. Okay, got you. So from that perspective, I'm not letting him off the hook. Obviously, he is to blame. He's in the position of leadership, and so ultimately, who's the guy? Like, who's the guy that's going to get the brunt of this? So very clearly, yes, that's the case. But having said that, I wouldn't remove him by no means. I would actually just find out what was really going on, and then making plans or strategies to see how that can be corrected. Now, goes back to the investment. Where are you placing that investment from the top? What's their agenda? Do they just want to sell? Do they sell one quick ticket so they can make a quick buck now in the pocket? Or do they really want to invest in the team in the long run to create a sustainable winning team or environment? That's really what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I don't agree completely.
You don't agree with what?
No, I think it's more than that. You know what? The time's passing, man, like that. So I think he's got to ask the questions, but you know what? He should have been asking the questions before, not now. That's my arrogance.
But the fact is he didn't, and we're here now. So what do you do?
But the point is, if he didn't, then why is he waiting for the feedback from us to start asking the questions?
Well, maybe he needs help. Maybe there has to be a consultant.
Wow. Now that you've said that, like, our chat is right onto this, right? Now, listen to this comment. Sam, it was stated publicly Voss had a deficiency in tactical ability, but he got him as a leader and will get the right team around him. And that is an actual fact, right? They did identify that he had some deficiencies, right? then my question is, right, so we get this person to lead, to be the leader, and we know he has a deficiency, right? So why haven't they set the right people around him? And again, it comes back to the leaders. It might not be then a coach, it might be the footy director or whatever the next person is. Why, if they knew there was a deficiency, right? This is negligence by them then. Why haven't they put the right people around him to get those strategies right? You know, like it goes real deep, you know, the more you dig into it, the more you find. Like it's real funny, you know.
There's a major problem.
Yeah, we want to do a circle back to everyone joining us on in the change room. Man, we've got a record number here, so which is awesome. Nice to
fantastic. That's fantastic.
It blew up completely.
Can you come on every week, Rocco? I'm joking.
Oh, man, I'm happy. This is seriously, and a lot of people saying you believe me, but this is one of my favorite shows, man. I watch it every week, and I love this sort of talk. You know what I mean? Because the sport, to me, it mirrors life. It's a lot like life. You know what I mean? You got your challenges, you got your winning, you're losing. How do you come back from? Like we've all been in that point where we've lost or we've had bad days and weeks, but it's about what we do next. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this is what the footy club should be doing now. You know, what are we going to do next?
And effort is free, Rocco. Effort's free. You know what I mean? Like what we were talking about. Sam, stop fucking around with the thing, man. Put it back to where it was. You're fucking around with it. Effort is free, and there's no effort, there's no motivation, there's something wrong. All right, we've been talking about this topic for a while. Let me sort of like put it all back. Now, Sam, here's what I want from you. Give me the solutions, baby. People in the fan want to hear. Give me a solution give me an example that, you know, you work with big name corporations. Both of us have. And what have you, to give us maybe a success story of what you've done, and maybe we'll do a GoFundMe and get you here to Australia and get you to work with Carlton Football Club.
Dude, I would love to. The thing is, what's common these days is there's a lack of communication, plain and simple. Okay, and like I said, circling all the way back to what we touched on earlier, upper management or the board, or you know, they want to see results. Okay, they too want to see results. Obviously, you win more games, you get more fans, you spend more money, blah blah blah. It's a change. Listen, they're not stupid people. Okay, they're very switched on. They know how it works. And number two, the marketing machine. I wouldn't touch that at all. In fact, if anything, I would actually bolster that marketing machine when the team is in order. Okay, because they're gonna make the team look good regardless. That's their job. They're doing a job.
Now, I would make the marketing team, and I would make the marketing team the coach, actually. That's how good of a job they're doing.
I don't know if they can do the job. God.
That's what I would do. And then followed by auditing, obviously, the players, understanding what their agenda is. Everyone has their own agenda, and that's absolutely fine. What is driving them to do that? I would find out their patterns, their strategies, and use those same strategies as you alluded to before, Rash, where they wait, and then they give it their all. I would use that as a strategy because that's what they're used to. And I would program that to happen early on. It's just the way we think and approach stuff. Some people like to work and wait till the 11th hour for them to switch on. Well, I would take that in NLP. We know this, right? We do this. And we take that frame and we reframe it in a way where we make the starting position more urgent. We can make that more urgent to them, where they feel the fire up their ass, and then that's when they'll move. So
it's habits, guys.
But you can only do that when you understand the players. Some people are motivated by titles. Some people are motivated by the money. Some people are motivated by where that's going to get them next. There's different motivating factors for each player, believe it or not. So it's not, the coach has to do a job, obviously, and he will lead and he will influence and give them that that vision. But I think it's also finding out what's in it for the players. Like Why are they not performing there? Why did this happen? Maybe they're actually injured, but they don't want to say so. Maybe they're poor at a certain position or a play, but they don't want to say so. Like, you got to dig into those nitty gritty to really make and paint the proper picture and review to present it to the big boss. And only then, that's when they'll set that time aside. That's when they'll invest perhaps even more money and funds to give them the right training that they need. You know what I mean? So it's a mindset. And I think, it's not just, people will do something based on what's in it for them. And right now it looks like there's a lack of communication. There's a lack of communication.
Honesty. I reckon they're not honest too. They don't tell us what's really going on. Well, Maybe. It seems like that to me anyway. I mean, can I just say, and I always bring back the whole Richmond story. Okay. Richmond they won the flag in 17, 19, and 20, right? And because of my link with Basher Hooley, and obviously he was a mad Carlton supporter, was my next door neighbor, etc. I got a little bit of insight what they did with the turnaround. But one thing is for sure, from the top to the bottom, they were all aligned. The coach was going to go, but they were all aligned with the same vision. And then he did this thing, and he told me about it. They called it the Triple H. And this is where they went up and were absolutely, if it was something going to hurt, they were honest to each other. They called it Triple H. It was H for give me a highlight, give me a horrific thing that happened and something else, right? And they just poured their guts out to each other, and they created this bond within them that they did it for each other. And it just strengthened them together. And believe it or not, they had a woman that's got the same qualifications as you and me, Sam, with NLP. And she was driving them to do meditation. She was driving them to do visualization and stick to the goal and building up those habits. Now, I'm 100% sure we don't have that at the club. That's 100% sure. They're either going too rock star and going, no, we don't need that. We've got it, whatever. But these are the sort of things that need to be implemented to the club. I implore anyone to go out and research and find out about that.
100%.
I think that's
No, I was going to say, you're absolutely correct, but it always comes back to the same point here. Why haven't we got the right people in place? And who is putting these people in place? Like, we need somebody up the top who can see all this, or put the right people around him who can see. Like you were saying, different players need like different motivations, and these days it's 100%. Like someone might need a cuddle, and someone might need a smack in the back of their head, and that's fair enough. But where are the right people around them to identify this? If they're not getting that right, well, let's get it right. Like, how hard is this? Like, just it might take a few years, but let's get these people. The other thing I've always, how do we get players or even someone in a corporate, how do you get them to achieve the ultimate, like the best they possibly can? And I remember years ago I went to this seminar, and I'll tell you a little thing they made me do. They said to everyone, I want you to stretch as far as you can, yeah? And everyone stretched as far as they can. And then they said, just stretch a little bit more. And everyone went a little bit more. And then they said, but I told you to stretch as far as you can the first time. So why didn't you go that extra bit when only until I asked you? You know what I mean? And that's always stuck with me. You know what I mean? Do we need people to go, we need some more off you? And I think to myself, why do you need me to tell you that we need more off you? You know what I mean? You should be going 100. This is your life. Like, this is, and if they're not doing it, then I say, then we haven't got the right players. And then if we haven't got the right players, I go back and go, then our recruiting's no good.
No, but it's not about players. Wait. It's not only about the players. We're talking about something as a simple thing as called effort, right? If you don't have the right players, but you've got effort, right, and you're motivated to go.
Sorry, Rash, when I say you haven't got the right players, I don't mean as far as skill. What I'm saying is you haven't got the right players with the right attitude.
Okay.
So we are now recruiting people, and we haven't got them with the right attitude. But they can all play football. Let's be serious. But have you got that attitude? Like, why haven't you got the right people with the right mental attitude in there? Are they actually interviewing and asking the wrong questions?
But that links me to the next point. No, it's the next point. That's about culture also. So when they walk in, there's an induction. So Sam, give us the breakdown of when you work with an organization. Obviously, you design that sort of stuff. When you come in, there's an induction. They know what they're coming into. So when you think Apple, there's a particular way of Apple employees, what they know. They're almost like rock stars within a corporation with a little blue top with a little apple there.
Yeah.
But they've been inducted into that. So there's a culture there. There's a culture reason why they're successful. So I'm just looking at the time. So Sam, just give us a bit of a rundown on that, and then we're going to start wrapping up.
Well, listen, you mentioned someone like Apple and stuff. Well, that all started with Steve Jobs. Obviously, everyone knows his story. But I mean, it starts off with a vision. The guy had a vision, right? Some called him, excuse me, an absolute asshole to work with. Some people loved him. Some people loved him, right? So, but he was after greatness. He was after innovation. He was after making life more convenient. He was after style and design and aesthetics. He had a vision. It was very clear from the beginning. And so if you map that across to a team environment, where's the vision? What does it look like? Are you bringing your team?
I'm sure the coach has got that vision. He has. The question is whether or not he can implement it. Let's get to that point.
But before we do, you asked previously, how do you form a culture? That's how you form a culture. Like I can tell you right now that the Carlton fans listening to us right here already have that culture. They formed the bond. They formed that love, that kind of camaraderie. It's very clear and evident. Like I can feel it through the screen, right? Now the question is, how come the team doesn't have that, or do they? I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
That's
how
you build the culture.
They have it in spurts. But we both know as coaches also that it's learned behavior, that you've got to keep it, and it's got to be habitual. It's got to be second nature and unconsciously.
Listen, like you said earlier, Rash, sorry to cut you off, but it's effort, right? If I saw the team putting all the effort, they did their very best, you could see it and you can feel it. I don't mind spending the money. It's actually money well spent. No issues, no problem. Even if they lost.
As a fan.
Exactly. I can see that. I still feel okay. I sympathize with the team. We can do better. But the level of like comments and feedback after that last game was horrific. It was like people are pissed off. Like you could.
That was fed up. It's fed up.
Exactly. We were, Sam, the first time I watched it on my own, right? I was embarrassed.
Mm.
So when I tell you that I'm embarrassed of the team that I love, if I say to you, I was embarrassed of my kids for doing something, that's a strong word, right? And we were embarrassed, and a lot of people will probably testify to this. I was embarrassed, and that's bad. Like, I don't want to be embarrassed on my side. As you said, I want to be proud of them. Even if you lose, we don't care that you lose. But I want to see that you've given I want to see that you love this symbol as much as I do. And if you don't, I turn against you. Yeah. And that's how we sometimes feel against a club. Now, I'm not saying players don't try. They do try. But do they give it that what we need? Maybe they don't. Maybe their motivation isn't what it should be. Maybe their motivation is money or that. And if that's the case, then we've got a problem. We've got to take that out of there. You know what I mean? Like that's why we've talked for an hour, and it comes back to the people that are leading this club with their strategy and what their vision is. And to me, sometimes it feels like it's not aligned with us.
Okay, I just want to say one thing, and then we'll start wrapping up because we've gone for almost an hour. And
what did Sam tell you a couple of weeks ago, mate?
He told me. All right, I just thought about it.
Wrap it up, mate. Don't use the word wrap it up.
Now I've lost my train of thought. No, I haven't. My key point here, and look, we can extend this to the following week also. So I mean, it's a great topic. You guys, you're watching The Change Room. We're on every Thursdays at 7. We talk about everything mindset. It's not a Carlton show, but we're all Carlton fans here, and we talk about elite mental fitness and stuff that we do. We're certified hypnotists. We're mental coaches. We work with sports people. My big concern here, out of the whole lot, what I've got out of, we can say it's leadership. It's a whole bunch of things. Not until someone like Sam and I would go in and do an audit will we know the full story. So now we're just talking out of our asses. Yep. But the one thing that I'm going to say as I wrap up, one thing is for sure is that we haven't owned up to it. That's what pisses me off. Yeah. Right? So unless you own up to it, because for me, leadership is like, yeah, I'm a leader. Look at me. Right? But when you own up to it as a man and say, you know what? I fucked up. I put my hand up. I fucked up. If the coach says I fucked up, that's not good enough. My players are not good enough. We're going to do our best and call it for what it is. Instead of giving us all this fucking bullshit that we're going this way. It's like this, like the magician that goes, look here, look here, look here. But he's getting you. We don't get
hoodwinked. You're getting hoodwinked.
So what my biggest concern, I'm sure that people will agree in the chat, is that owning up to things. It's wise. It's ballsy to say, hey, I fucked up. I got the wrong selection. Hey, I shouldn't have dropped Chinkota. You know, all of these things. Hey, you know what? I'm a man. I'm a leader of men, but I'm not that great in strategy. But we're going to get the best in the place for strategy. Owning up to that sort of stuff. Our club is a fucking fraud for that. And that's what
You're right. Owning up is the first step to redemption, I suppose. If you own up, then we can move on. But if you don't, well, I think we're going to end up.
All right, listen, we've talked this to death, and I want this show not to go as 2 hours and 3 hours. So there's a nice comment here from Lana. She goes, hypnotize Rocco. Right? Rocco can't be hypnotized, but we've got two. He says that he can't be hypnotized. Do you want to try something, Cam, and apply? Just see if you can try a test on him, or no? You don't
nope, because he believes he can't be hypnotized. So what's the point?
All right, cool.
If you believe that you can't hypnotize me, well, what can I do about it? I'll put it back on you.
Well, here's a question: do you want to be?
I told Rash I'm happy to be hypnotized. I want to be hypnotized.
We're going to do this live. Let's do it.
I don't mind next time or whenever you want. I'm happy to try for you to try to hypnotize me. No, I'm happy for you to hypnotize. I'm not going to use the word try. See how quickly I learned.
Look at that. He's learned that already.
I'm happy for you to hypnotize me, but I suppose it would have to be on the next show. How's everyone? Is everyone happy with that?
Yeah, let us know in the chat. He's a hardhead.
I reckon you're starting to try to hypnotize me now. I reckon you're a bit shifty and you're already starting to get into it with your eyes.
Right. Well, I was actually going to mention something on the topic of hypnosis because it's an absorbed, focused attention. And I can tell by hearing and listening to the fans and stuff that they're clearly in a trance because they care so much on connecting with the team, with what the team stands for and stuff like that. So hypnosis technically is that. And what we do partially is when we're working with teams or players, it's how do we dehypnotize them in such a way to believe in something else, like winning, like being better, like having a team environment. And so that's all important, and it all falls under hypnosis technically. So would love to do a hypnosis session with you maybe on the next episode.
We could definitely do that. As I said, I'm happy to get hypnotized, man. I'd love to. Look, I think I can. I think you can do it. I think you can do it. If anyone can do it, I reckon Sam can do it, man. After I've been watching you for the last year, I reckon because Rash did try and he couldn't get me, but maybe because I know him too well. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's that, or maybe there's a time and place to get hypnotized. And I'm not saying it could happen to you right now, but it could happen maybe in the next episode or starting now. You may begin to, as you focus on the screen looking at me, that you may feel that wave of hypnosis maybe coming over you from that light shining down on your head. And as you smile, as you do right now, That's right. That smile will increase. And when that smile increases to a laugh, you'll laugh even more. There you go. There you go.
Like it.
Oh God,
You're making me do stuff that's very smart. That's very smart. Oh, look, the day that you said you hypnotize me every week to just
oh, look at that. Hey, for those guys that are just joining us, we've got a lot of new fans. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Sam we're both really good hypnotists. Sam is really good. He does some things. Maybe we'll show it again next week, but those who follow us every week, we've showed videos of, he's got someone's ass stuck to the seat, hand stuck to the table, can't lift something. I've done name amnesia. I make someone forget their name and then give them a new name, and then it actually works. So it does work.
But are we hypnotized throughout the day and throughout our life in a lot of aspects, in things we do and all that? Yeah. So.
Yeah, you are. You are. And that's a good point. The reason that Rash was actually mentioning those techniques or devices is because they're used there to illustrate a point. Okay. And that point is, the more you focus on something, and that could be having a good day, having a better relationship with your partner, making changes, changing different decisions for the betterment of your performance, whatever that could be, you could do that if you focus your attention there, right? So that was the whole point. So and hypnosis is, just like you rightly said, Rocco, it's actually in our everyday kind of lifestyle. So it happens all the time.
I actually hypnotize everyone. I've hypnotized you tonight because we're on here for an hour and you just didn't realize that the hour went by. On Tuesday, we hypnotized everyone for 5 hours and they stayed till the end. So, yeah, there you go, man. We are slowly hypnotized.
It's a form of hypnosis. Even when we watch the game, we're in a hypnotic state.
Yeah, 100%.
Guys, I just want to say, look, Rocco, thanks for joining us today. Really, really appreciate it. Guys, we're on every Thursdays on 7 p.m. I think the new time slot is working really, really well. This is our Instagram. You can follow us. We've got some stories there. You can follow us on that. Watch us every week. We have a different take on, it's not Carlton again, but it's Carlton theme. We have a different take, and we got everything to do with mental fitness and from our experiences as coaches. And we analyze different sports, but the focus is Carlton. And this week,
can I just say that you guys, I know we give it that Carlton flavor, and it's a Carlton channel, so it's a smart way of getting your views across. But everything that you talk about over the last year can be transferred over to life. That's why I like it. And we might be talking about Carlton, we might be talking about football, but just remember, all those learnings can be transferred over to life, and that's what I take out of the show,
Sure.
So
the whole point. That's the whole point. Rightly said, Rocco. That's why we show up every Thursday, because we've noticed that there are plenty of similarities between sports performance and daily life and stuff. And that's why we want to keep on bringing value to people, so they can keep coming back and joining us and talking more about this, and perhaps even helping them or the team actually make those really needed changes that need to happen now.
I haven't. He's doing his hypnotic shit, right? I've got a suggestion for the next week or coming up episodes. I think you and I, Sam, should work on a solution and a mental fitness design for the Carlton Football Club. And I reckon we could pitch it at them. No, you don't want to do that?
No, I don't think so. You know why? Because we need more data. We need more information from real people there that will give us some real data to work with. Otherwise, it's just going to be speculation.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. This is why we complement each other. Guys, thank you again. You've been watching The Change Room every Thursday, 7 p.m. Rocco, thank you for joining us today. Really, man, you've made our show go 10 times more.
Push the like button, and that helps out. And push the subscribe, and also share the show. Tell your friends. You know what I mean. This is one of the great shows on our channel. So make sure you push like and subscribe, because that little gesture might not seem a lot, but it does a lot for us And even just to feel good. When we see an extra thumbs up, we feel good. So, you know, like just
100%.
do it. Yeah.
And not only that, the other thing is, you know what, we're here to help people. So I mean, in other episodes today was about it, like, let's call it a review, but in other times, you know, we are wanting to put people up on the episode if they've got problems with anxiety, depression, etc. The thing is, we're not doctors, but what we can do is we're coaches and we can help people. We've helped hundreds of people deal with anxiety, depression, guilt, sadness, fear, all these negative emotions. Even headaches. We can get rid of someone's headache in 2 minutes. We can do that live if we want. So there's a formula to do that. It's a science, and we're geeks on this sort of stuff. We love it. We love what we do. Having said that,
don't give them all the secrets. Come on, don't give them all the secrets.
I'm happy to give it to the fans. It's fine.
I needed to ring you Saturday. I needed to ring you Saturday night at about 10:30. I had such a headache after watching my team play. Maybe it could have helped me.
Anyway, guys, let's count this on the count of 3. We know what we're going to say. It's been a wonderful show. This is probably our biggest show. Appreciate it. Again, watch us every Thursday, 7 p.m. This is a change room. Mindful chats for the game of life. We're on Spotify also, and on the Jumper Punch channel. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Go Blues.
Go Blues.
No, we didn't do it at the time. Now we've got to redo it. Come on. 1, 2, 3.
Go
Blues. Adios.
Adios.